Chris. How's it going?
Oh, great. How about you?
Doing well, man. Thanks for being here. Have you come to community calls before? Is this your first
I
time?
have.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've been on a couple. Yeah.
How do you feel being on this side of the camera as opposed to how it was before?
Yeah, it's intimidating for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
We'll see how
cool.
I do.
No worries. Well, Chris, do you want to just give us a little bit of background about yourself? I know you and I talked last week. You said you're out of Greenville, South Carolina. Always nice to have another Southerner in the call on the occasion. I'm down here in
Yeah,
Alabama. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll kind of shift gears into uh, everything else.
sure. Yeah. So, yeah, as Rob mentioned, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. But we work remote at Lumanu. It's a pretty distributed company. I've been in software development for over 20 years. About half of that spent in consulting and like some software development. So, worked across a bunch of different stacks, and that's kind of how the story with Hasura started. Um, so I kind of brought that over from my days in consulting as a tool that we used, for some proof of concept and some smaller projects um, before I came to Lumanu. So yeah, that's me. And Lumanu is a tool to help marketing teams and agencies streamline their payments to the influencers and maybe other contractors that they work with. So we try to solve this problem by becoming a master vendor for them. So if you think about traditional procurement processes, when you go to hire a vendor to do something for a company, it's a pretty slow process, and it's not very agile. And in marketing, it's all about time to market, speed. And now in the creator economy, there's a lot of different vendors that they're working with. These influencers are vendors as far as your finance team is concerned. So they're going to put them through the same process that they would, another company that you're working with. So what we do is we act as a master vendor. So we're the one vendor that your finance team can look to for payments, and then what we do is allow the marketing teams to actually control the payout process. And at the same time, we still give the finance team the visibility and access to the financial part, integrate with their accounting system. We handle all the compliance and tax reporting and all that kind of stuff for them. So it's um, it's a nice way to kind of help those teams move a little faster and work with kind of a new paradigm in this economy we
Gotcha.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New paradigm is a good way of putting it, right? And before we kind of jump into the technical side of things, I'm just curious, how do you feel about that word influencer? It's perfect.
We go back and forth that we internally we say vendors because that's really what they are, right?
Yeah.
It's not just for influencers, it's not just for creators. They do have this problem where they do want to be more agile across, really any kind of contractor. So, yeah, I it's not a favorite of mine personally, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is what the industry uses.
Yeah, for sure. That's a cool way of thinking about it from the perspective of vendors. And so when you and I talked last week, you kind of said that, the role that Hasura plays more than anything else is it allows you to kind of make cheap bets and cheap experiments, not only in terms of the, like dollar cost associated with things, but also kind of in like rapid prototyping. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. So when I joined Lumanu, we had started out doing sort of just like traditional, code everything development. And what we were realizing is that, yeah, as a startup, as a young company, you got to have a lot of at-bats and you got to keep trying things. And as our team grew, as our technology stack and what we were trying grew, we realized these bets were just getting too expensive. It took us too long in terms of time to do something. It's a lot of cost, a lot of infrastructure we had to spin up to support these things. So yeah, like I said, I used to be in, kind of a bit of a scrapper in the consulting, trying to put things together. So I kind of drew on that, pulled Husser out of my pocket. And to my leadership's credit, they bid off on the idea of rewriting our stack based on this proof of concept that I did, where I think we looked at a bunch of other things, right? There's a bunch of tools out there that kind of do similar things, but I mean, we couldn't do anything any better than what we did with Hasura. I mean, within 40 hours we were moving fake money around, and we had the core of our product kind of rebuilt. It was programmer UI, sure. I mean, didn't look pretty, but it did all the things that we thought we needed to do. So we built that proof of concept, and we decided to base our rewrite on that, and we got that done last year. So yeah.
It's always good to see that fake money moving around whenever you're working on an e-commerce API. Just feel
Yeah,
like you're
yeah. I
invincible at
did it in
that
the
point.
sandbox. I didn't move any
Yeah,
real money. Yeah.
yeah. So you said 40 hours for the proof of concept?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
We looked at
impressive.
some other
Yeah,
things, and they were at the point where I was like, okay, you can log in and you can see a list of something,
sure.
but to be actually have the core of the product in that amount of time was just a no-brainer for us to rebuild on that.
Definitely. Well, if folks want to find out more about Lumanu or more about you and your work, where can they go?
Lumanu.com is the best place.
Okay.
Lumanu, and it's
Thanks.
Lumanu, not Luminu. We've had that question.
Okay. You can imagine that we get a lot of questions about our name as well. So yeah.
Yes, yes. We're not sure internally. It's a little different for everyone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. If you want to stick around in case anybody has questions, Chris can be around on the
For sure.
chat. Yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.